Hey everyone, Once Bitten here at the Battle Report. So my Bretonnians are out again, and again I'm facing an Ogre army. This is a guy I've never played before. We're both preparing for Grail Quest, and so you can have 350 points in monsters that don't count towards your comp, both using Swedish comp. Mine comes in at a 17.1. In this tournament you're capped at 16, and he's coming in, I'm assuming at a 12, because I think I started off with an extra 400 victory points, which is how they're using the comp system this tournament. So I'm really enjoying it because everybody I play against is kind of throwing in different monsters from either Storm of Magic or the Monstrous Arcana, and that's kind of fun, and you're just seeing different lists because you can't take all the normal stuff. So start at the far right, he's got a unit of 2 Saber Tusks, because they are not comped nearly as heavily as 1 Saber Tusk. Then he has 8 Iron Guts and 4 characters, and this is one way that even with a comm system you can still have those tough units. Fairly Death Starry. I'm worried that they don't have Crown of Command, which is nice, but the Tyrant is so brutal that in combat he's just gonna tear stuff up. So that's not wonderful. Right next to him he's got a unit of 6 Bulls. They don't scare me. Then these 2 units that look like bulls are actually man-eaters. So the unit of 3, small unit, I know they have Swift Stride, I forget the other special rule they have. It's got another unit of 2 Saber Tusks, another unit of man-eaters, 6 of them here. This one has the Flaming Banner, and they're stubborn and poison, and of course they have guns, so that one's tough. 6 man-eaters are tough to kill, and with stubborn, luckily he's not around his Battle Standard Bearer, so if I can win combat I just need him to roll above an 8. But still, stubborn isn't wonderful. And then he brought a Hydra. On the far left, that giant model that I use for pretty much anything is the giant Chaos Spawn. I've got a Chimera, and of course out of the Storm of Magic, Chimeras do not have regen as a base, and I'm taking this guy cheap. So then my list has 4 units of Knights, 1 unit of Knights Errant, and then 3 units of Knights of the Realm with a handful of characters. So I have the Knights Errant with the Errantry Banner, and in there I've got the Paladin, who I call it the challenge build. If he issues a challenge, you have to accept it. He has a Virtue of Confidence, so he gets to reroll hits and wounds, and I gave him the 2+ ward against fire, so I stuck him with this unit, hoping I can get him in combat alone with the Man-Eaters and just hold them up forever, or until I get a nice flank charge on him or something like that. Then I've got my first Knight of the Realm unit. This one's Standard Discipline, so my general's in there. He's got the Heroic Killing Blow build. Just, it doesn't matter. That Virtue plus, I think I have the Tress of Isolde and the Heartwood Lance. And I've got a cheap Paladin in that unit as well. Then I have my unit with the Flaming Banner. I'd really rather have these guys across from his Hydra, but my opponent had a lot more drops than me, so I went ahead and put him over here. So I've got my BSB. And in our region, they have FAQ'd it that Bretonnian Battle Standard Bearers can bring a regular shield. That's how I got him a 1-up rerollable armor save. And then on the far right, I've got a unit with the Banner of Swiftness, so they're movement 9, and then a Paladin in there that allows them a plus D6 to charge. So Ogres go first, of course, and he doesn't really move much. So you can see he moves his Saber Tusks up. Oh, and there's, if you look at the top left, he had 1 single Saber Tusk way up there. Yeah, so but his main troops just hang back. During Magic, I can't stop one spell, I forget which one, that does 2 wounds on my rightmost unit, and then his shooting Man-Eaters put 2 wounds on my Chimera. The thing only has 4 wounds and has no save, so this is, I mean, those Man-Eaters, they could kill that guy easily. The giant Chaos Spawn has toughness 7, that's his only defense, but against poison it doesn't do him any good whatsoever, and I think he only has 5 wounds. Yeah, so yeah, Bretonnian turn 1. A couple things happened. One, if you look at the Chimera on the left, I charged his unit of Saber Tusks that were near the rock formation in the middle of the table. He fled. I kind of like that. He failed his terror test, and it's going to probably just run right off the board. So I got that chaff right off the bat, no problem. I'm sorry, he didn't fail a terror test because he causes fear, doesn't take a terror test. He just opted to flee because it wasn't that difficult of a charge, and I redirected to the one on the left and failed the charge. If you look in the very far right, my Paladin went ahead and charged out of the unit into those Saber Tusks. I think I can beat him. hopefully I can get out of line of sight of his Iron Guts, and if I don't, I really don't mind. It'll take them away from everything else, and I can move my lines to the left. Basically, I'm not worried about anything he has on the table except for the Iron Guts with all his characters on the right and his man-eaters on the left. And I think if I split up my forces and just go after everything equally, I lose. So I decided just to ignore the Iron Guts and try to redirect them and pick on everything else. So my biggest concern is those man-eaters. So here's the Paladin charging the Saber Tusks. Yeah, I don't think he does any wounds to him, but they don't do any to him. He wins by 1, and they break, and he gets out of line of sight. So that's kind of nice. And we go to Ogre's turn 2. So I actually really liked what I saw here. So he moves up very aggressively on the right, but he's so aggressive there that all I have to do is charge my 2 knight units at his smaller unit of bulls, the 6 bulls, and I can just blow right on by and just leave his Iron Guts looking at nothing. On the left, it's a little bit trickier, but one problem I'm having is my general's unit can't charge his small man-eater unit because I can't get around that rock formation. That's kind of a bummer, but the Knights Errant are not very far away from him. So, although I like the idea of getting my Paladin in with the man-eaters backed up, I'm not confident I can make that charge. So I'm thinking either I could march him, put him right in front of the man-eaters. I could try to charge him, or I could take the whole unit and charge the small man-eater unit. But overall, I liked what I saw here. So his Hydra has a shooting attack. It's like 5 shots they auto hit, range 18, no armor save. Pretty rough. I think it does D6 wounds. So he kills a few Knights Errant. And we go to Bretonnian turn 2. So let's see. Far left, the Giant Chaos Spawn just rambles into the Saber Tusk there. My Knights Errant made the charge against the small unit of man-eaters. I charged my general out of the Realm unit because I figure if he can get there and get 1 heroic killing blow, that could really make a big difference. Otherwise, I think I win that pretty well. And I have a magic phase. I can try to make sure that I get some buffs going on there. But yeah, and then like I said, I just take my 2 knight units at a smaller unit of bulls. There's no way I'm going to lose that. My only concern is if I'm not going to kill him to a man, and so when I overrun, I don't think I can get both units fitting through there. But just the way that works, I think I brought my Paladin around. I think he can block the Iron Guts, and you'll see why later. So I take the Chimera away from the shooting man-eaters and bring them over here to maybe help redirect later. There's that. I'm not really worried about that. I mean, 3 man-eaters, that's still like 15 attacks. Should be 10 hits. Should be, man, 8 or 9 wounds before armor saves and ward saves. But I still think he only punches through a couple. I think I should win that fairly easily. And I'm going to slaughter these guys. So, and there's the redirects. We go to the magic phase, and I think he stops everything, most things of significance, but I get the chain lightning one, and it kind of just didn't do much against the Iron Guts. It bounced to this unit on the left. It didn't do anything to them, or not much to them. It bounced to the unit of 3 man-eaters and actually killed one of them, which I thought was very, very nice. And after combat, it looks like that. So these guys, yeah, I killed them down to 2 guys, and the standard died. He ran away from my BSB's unit, and it ended up like that. So basically, I have to take my BSB's unit and position to move him forward. I take the other unit, and I do a virtual pivot, and then I just have to put him down 1 inch away from my other knight unit, which actually moved him farther away from the Iron Guts, which was nice. Now the Iron Guts are definitely being redirected by the Paladin. That's what I was saying earlier about how just the way when you're pursuing units, you have to just basically, your 2 units that are pursuing can actually just overlap each other, and you have to move one first, and the other one, if it gets blocked, you still have to put them 1 inch away. So I was pretty happy about that. I think I got off the spell. I'm just blanking out that the man-eaters are -1 to hit, and they're -1 leadership, and I'm just blanking out what it's called right now. I think I do pretty well against them. And when it's all said and done, he needs to stick on a 4, and he picks up the dice and rolls a 4, which happens, but that just sucks. And yeah, so yeah, that just sucks. So now the big man-eater unit is going to be able to countercharge them. I would have loved to have reformed to put my paladin to where they could only hit him. But if I went single, first of all, I couldn't bring him out of combat, and secondly, there wasn't really enough space to go single wide. And if I did go single wide, the man-eaters could still see me and then just charge me in the rear. It was just ugly all the way around. So I think it's just going to cost me that unit. That was very disappointing. So Ogre's turn 3. On the right, the Iron Guts charge the paladin. He takes it. It's just taking one for the team there. And then his man-eaters charge the flank of the Knights Errant. He's going to crush those guys. Really, that's all he has left on the table. His Hydra just sits there. He's just going to shoot at Knights. Yeah, that's bad. What I'm hoping here is that he kills the whole unit. He's not going to kill my paladin because only the single remaining Ogre can hit him, and I have a 1-up armor save. I don't think he's going to kill my paladin. If he kills everybody else, my paladin has a decent chance of getting away, and he can rally on no worse than an 8. My fear is he does too few wounds, and I'm left with like my champion and my paladin left, and then I'll be on Snake Eyes to rally. So I'm actually rooting on his man-eaters to do a lot of wounds. There's that. And then during magic phase, look at all those spells he got off. I forgot the order he did them, and I forgot whatever, but basically he put like a strength buff on these guys, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, I don't care, you're going to kill that guy no matter what. He puts a toughness buff on him, I'm like, okay, whatever. And then he puts a third buff on him, I don't remember what it was, but anyway, he gets a miscast, and just blows up. I mean, it doesn't do too. I think he did like 8 wounds to his unit, which was nice. I think he rolled a 7. Anyway, just did a bunch of wounds to his unit, which it helps. That paladin was going to die no matter what. And the damn Hydra kills a few more Knights. And over here, look, this is so funny. So he charges in, and like his impact hits totally fluff. I'm like, dang it, I need to kill these guys. And then he attacks. He's blah blah blah. He has one guy who has to attack the champion, and he just doesn't kill the champion. And anyway, so I'm like, this just sucks. You don't kill the unit. I'm gonna be on Snake Eyes to rally. I go to take my break test, and I roll Snake Eyes. These guys stick, which I thought was just kind of funny. And after slaughtering the paladin, these guys reform and are all up in my business. So really here, my 2 knight units can't do anything. I mean, my BSB's unit could charge. I think his Saber Tusk might still be on the table, but if they push him off the table, they would just be stuck there, and then this unit in front of his Iron Guts would be just totally stuck there. So what I do instead is I just take march tests on both of them, and I'm just going to swing them, take my BSB's unit, move them up, and then just wheel them until they're just out of the way of everything, and then take this other knight unit and just march I can march 16 inches as long as I can pass the test, and just get out of his line of sight. Go to Bretonnian's turn 3. My knight unit there in the middle of the table fails a charge against his Hydra. My Greater Chaos Spawn tries to hit it using its random movement, and it doesn't get in there. That kind of sucked. My general, I could have charged the generals at the man-eaters, and I decided that would just be death. Wouldn't make any sense at all. And you can see what I did with my BSB's unit, and then the other unit again just walked straight ahead. They're not in combat, they're just trying to get out of line of sight of the man-eaters, of the Iron Guts. Yeah, there's that failed charge. I was going to park the Chimera in front of these guys to redirect them, and I just decided not to. And after combat, yeah, so in hindsight, I'm not sure well, I guess I was sure what I was thinking. So he kills the champion easily enough. My paladin, I needed a 6 rerollable, and so the hope was the paladin could stick it on a 6 rerollable, but he failed it. So not too surprising. The Swift Stride Man-Eater caught him. I figured that's what my paladin deserves for not killing that guy after 2 rounds of combat. And his other man-eaters overrun into the front of this unit. Not ideal by any means, but we're not going to fight that. We're going to fight it on his turn, and I think my guys are going to be steadfast. He can do a lot of hits. I just really think I can keep my steadfast there, and on my following turn, I can countercharge with my BSB's unit. So not unhappy with that. So Ogre's turn 4 is Iron Guts charge my Knight of the Realm unit, and I flee just to get away from everything. And really had nothing else to do. He moves his one remaining Man-Eater. If you look at the top middle, out of line of sight of my BSB's unit. He didn't think of my Chimera, but I'm not sure it would have mattered. I don't think there's anything he could have done to avoid the charge of the Chimera. During shooting, yeah, so my general's left out here all alone. No troops nearby to give him a lookout, sir. So the Hydra does his automatic, D6 strength 5 hits and does 2 wounds to my general. I made a couple, 1 or 2 ward saves. Very, very nice. But now my general's down to 1 wound, so now I'm afraid to charge him into anything because, if yeah, 1 wound is just too dangerous. After combat, yeah, it came down. I was steadfast by exactly what I needed. So I don't know why I was so confident that would happen, but yeah, I was right. So Bretonnian turn 4. The Chimera charges the last Man-Eater. My BSB's unit charges the flank of the stubborn Man-Eaters. My Knights of the Realm rally. My giant Chaos Spawn barrels into the Hydra. Yeah, there's that. Yeah, I hope I win that one. And this one I'm just really kind of curious to see what happens because, it's been a while since I've taken this to the guy, and I just always curious to see how he works in combat. The problem is this guy has like 2d6 attacks, which is okay. So on average, you're getting 7 attacks. The problem is he's only weapon skill 3, so he's hitting on 4s. I think he's strength 5. So he's not, it's kind of tough to wound. The Hydra has regen. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. After combat, the Chimera finishes off the last of the small Man-Eater unit, turns to face the Iron Guts. In the other combat, he actually whiffed his attacks against the original unit he charged, and so they reformed like you can see. And yeah, so basically I won combat by a lot. He was stubborn and he stuck, but overall I'm fairly happy with how that turned out because I think I'm going to win it eventually. Yeah, that's about as well as I could have hoped for. So Ogre's turn 5, he just reforms the Iron Guts. Basically at this point I've pretty much lost all hope of doing anything against the Iron Guts. If I can just avoid them, I'll be happy. And after combat, yeah, this time he made up for all that had missed last time. Now I had miscast with my Prophetess at some point earlier in the game, so now I don't have any buffs to give, and she's only level 2. So my opponent's getting spells off left and right. I think he has 3 buffs in that Man-Eater unit. So they have this one unit down to just the champion. My BSB's unit's fine, of course, because they were in the flank. I win. He was steadfast and stuck. Over here, I've done 1 wound to his Hydra. One of the wounds on my giant Chaos Spawn was caused by the Saber Tusk, and 2 wounds. The Hydra's done 2 wounds to me, so I am actually losing the war of attrition over here. Bretonnian turn 5. The general with 1 wound left charges into the flank of the Man-Eaters. The Man-Eaters have a +1 strength, a +1 toughness. It's really hard for my strength 3 guys to get a wound through. So even though it looks like I'm overwhelming them in combat, I'm not likely to kill them, and I'm not necessarily likely to make them break. So throw the general in there. Hopefully he can lend some help and get that guy dead. If I can't kill him, he's probably going to allocate his attacks at my general and just get a whole bunch of points there. I park the Chimera with 2 wounds left right in front of his Iron Guts to redirect them. And I bring the other Knight of the Realm unit over because I really think that my giant Chaos Spawn is gonna die pretty soon. And if he doesn't, I plan on reforming him to shift him left to make room so my Knights can charge in there. And the Hydra kills him. That was an epic fail. I did 1 wound to that Hydra. The Hydra did 4 wounds to the giant Chaos Spawn. That was bad. After combat, yeah, the general kills the Man-Eater. We all reform. So my thinking here is if he charges the Iron Guts at the Chimera, I'll probably just flee with him. And I think the only one he could charge at that point would be the champion, and I would flee with him. I can't tell from this picture, and if I'm wrong about that, then I would probably just stick with the Chimera because it'll be Ogre's turn 6 next. So what he does instead, knowing that, is he just charges his tyrant out straight at my general. And I thought, this is great. This is what fun games are about. Because he knows what... Well, okay, so on the left is Hydra charges that knight unit. I'm really not worried about that. Knights are fantastic against... I don't think he's against monsters. I don't think he's going to do too many wounds to me. I'll have at least one... I'll have a rank and a standard. So I'm okay there. So this tyrant charges at my general. I'm going to get to go first. I've got 4 attacks. I've got the Tress of Asul that I haven't used yet. So I'm going to be 4 attacks hitting on 2s, wounding on 5s, and I get to re-roll failed rolls to wound. And all I need is... Well, no, I need some 6s, because for every 6 I get, my opponent's going to have a 4-up ward save, and if he fails one, he's dead. If I can't kill him, he's going to win. If this were a tournament, I probably would have fled with my general because it just wasn't worth it. But I thought, bring it on. Bring it on. Let's see what happens. And yeah, there's that. Not worried about that. Yeah, I forget what magic spell he's just been beating me up with all game. But whatever it was, he threw the Chimera and killed it. So that's kind of a bummer. It's 150 points. And yeah, so I take my 4 attacks. I roll them. And I hit all 4. I'm on 2s to hit, so, you know, that's great. So then, by the way, to my opponent's magic phase, he gets harmonic convergence off on his general. I let it go, because I figure I'm going to kill him or I'm not. After that point, it doesn't matter, he's going to kill me. So I take up my 4 hits. I need to roll a 6, and if I roll a 1 through 4, I can re-roll them. I think I have good odds of getting at least 1 6 here. I roll the dice. I roll 3 5s. Damn it. And the other one I was a miss. I re-rolled that one. I didn't get a 6 on it. And he makes 2 ward saves. I do a single wound to the guy. And then he just slaps my general around. We go to Bretonnian turn 6. Oh, if you look on the top left, the Hydra charged in there. I think did no wounds to me. I don't know. I may have done a wound or two, a wound to him. I don't know. But I won combat, and he broke, and my knights ran him down. So we go to the right. It's Bretonnian turn 6. Why not? We take my Knight of the Realm unit into his Iron Gut unit. I don't feel good about this. I don't have any magic buffs I can give. All I can really hope for is just to make armor ward saves, do enough wounds. Again, he doesn't have the Crown of Command. He shouldn't be steadfast. So let's just see how it goes. Yeah, there's these guys. I don't think I beat him until my turn. Whatever it was. Wait, going back up. Okay, I remember now. I beat him on his turn. He broke but got away. On my turn, I charged him and caught him. That's what that is. Here's the heroic last charge. Can we get all these points? 3 characters. So in the middle of the second rank are 2 of his characters. So it looks like he's got all these Iron Guts, but he only has 3 wide attacking. 2 of them are characters that I'm not really worried about. I think they're only strength 4. One's a BSB. So he has 3 Iron Guts, the BSB, and 2 characters. And I win combat, but by 1. So he's on an 8 rerollable, and of course he makes it. So the game ends there. Ended up being just a really, really fun game. I actually had a very sad epiphany after this game. Right as I was taking this picture, it occurred to me. It's like, this was such a fun game. We actually added it up, and I think I won by just under 200 points, which makes it a draw for this tournament. And I'm like, those have always been the best games. And the thought occurred to me, like, you know what? If I was in a tournament, this would be a total disappointment because I can't have a draw. And I'm like, you know what? That's the problem when you get into the competitive tournament scene, because this was what originally drew me to Warhammer Fantasy, was having games where the lists were balanced enough. It was just fun doing, you know, the heroic stuff of letting his tyrant charge your general, charging your Knight of the Realm unit into his Iron Guts at the very end just to see, and it was just an absolute blast. And it just made me sad when I realized that had this been in a tournament, I would have enjoyed it. I'd been frustrated not being able to get a bigger win. So, personal failing. Anyway, that's it for the game here. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. As you know, YouTube has several functions you can use to interact with videos such as this. You can like the video, you can leave a comment, you can favorite the video. I want you to know that I appreciate it when you do things like that. It feels much more interactive than simply me talking to a screen. So if you're willing to do so, please like, comment, and favorite the videos. Subscribe to the channel if you want, and you certainly are welcome to share this video on your blog or other websites if you are so inclined. Again, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.